Thanks for tuning in to the Animal Control Report podcast, where we help debunk the dog catcher stereotype. A lot of times people think it's a dog catcher when they hear about animal control officers, but here on the Animal Control Report, we change that by taking you inside the day-to-day operations of animal control officers. Not only will you hear stories of animal control officers, but you'll hear from industry experts as well. We are also part of the Keep It Humane podcast network. We have some amazing partners there, so check them out at keepithumane.com/podcast network. You can listen to all the animal control and animal welfare related podcasts there, and let's continue to help people help animals. Welcome to the Animal Control Report Special Edition, Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week, with none other than ACO Michelle. When you hear her voice, you will know who it is. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. It's always great to have you on the show, and to be honest, we need to have you on more because you always have fun stuff to talk about. But first and foremost, happy Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week.
Thank you. You too.
You know, it's funny. I actually thought it was a week ago.
Well, hopefully you were all prepared for it. So,
Well, I was, and then I realized, oh, it's the second full week. Sunday didn't happen in the first full week. It was just Monday through Saturday. So it's the whatever now, the 14th through the 20th. Sounds about
20th. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. 14th to the 20th.
So talk to us. What do we want to hear about Michelle and the world of New Jersey and just what's going on animal control stuff?
Well, not really animal control, but we had an earthquake this week. So
Ah,
that was fun. It was a 4.8er. And then we had I think a 2.0 aftershock a few hours later. So everybody was really freaking out. Um, we have an old shelter building. So my OEM guy was calling me saying, "Hey, why don't you go run around the building and make sure that there's no cracks in the foundation or anything, or there's no, busted gas lines or anything." So, had to send my guys to go and check and make sure everything was okay, which it was. But, I don't think the animals, I don't really think that they were freaked out. It only lasted a few seconds, 3, 4 seconds or something like that. Um, I wasn't at work at the time, but I happened to be standing like in a doorway, which is like the best place of all to be in. So I'm in this doorway while everything is shaking, and I happen to look and I hear a noise in the background. Like I thought it was something going on, in the other room, like, I don't know, a truck driving by or whatever. And I
yeah,
look, but I see the
yeah.
curtains moving, and I'm like, that's interesting because the windows are closed. I'm like. So it was pretty interesting. It was the talk of the town for a couple of days here.
Yeah, it's not every day we have natural disasters. And when you have random things like earthquakes in your town where you don't normally get them, that's pretty big. It's pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, there is a fault line here in New Jersey, but I don't remember the last time we had one that
If I'm not
even.
mistaken, Jimmy Hoffa is buried there too. Yeah.
He'll
So,
show up one of these days, a big one.
so how are things? I mean, I know you're doing NACA stuff too, right? So you're busy with that.
Yeah.
You're busy with your day-to-day job as well. And uh,
Hmm.
what's going on as far as that goes?
Uh, right now, I've trying to do a lot of community outreach and community service. Um, we're doing a project with the park signage for dogs. Off leash dogs are prohibited, picking up your poop, all kinds of stuff, because there's a bunch of parks in town, or a few parks in town, that people are saying that there's not enough signage for, and people are becoming like vigilantes and, chasing after people for their dogs being off leash. And then the people are saying, there's no signage that says this. So I had my guys do a little canvas of each ward with the parks, let me know what signs are where. And I'm working with my parks department to make up some more signs, post them in the parks. Now it's spring, so it's like fishing season. Trying to get something with Fish and Wildlife or somebody. I saw at my park here in my local town, there's like a box where you can collect fishing line. So it has like a hole in it. You just push the fishing line in there so that
Okay.
it's not going through the garbage and everything. So we're trying to do more things like that to make people aware of being responsible for
That's
their
fantastic.
project. I mean, their sports and things like that.
I mean, and one step in like that direction of saying like, look, you've been advised, like we do have signage up. We are, going to enforce this and that information is available for people. So
Yeah, and I always tell people you can only claim ignorance once. So if there's no signage, okay, now there's signage. Now we're talking to you about it. We're posting it on social media, everything. So now you can't say I didn't know. Especially the dog walkers that have like 7 or 8, little doodly things that go running around in the park, and they're
hey,
like, but they're well
that's how
behaved. And no,
I
no.
tore my ACL. Do you know this? A poodle ran into my knee and it tore my ACL.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Gave him a nice big fat ticket for that.
Yeah, no, because I was off duty and it
Oh.
wasn't in my juris, and yeah, and then they ran away and left me anguishing in pain. But it's not about me; it's about you and Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week. So, what's a story you want to share, like a positive story that either highlights you, your department, or another ACO throughout the country that is something we should all know about?
Um, hmm. I, I Let me think. I don't have anything specific about somebody specific, but one thing that I like to promote is like microchipping pets. And we had an instance a couple of months ago where somebody came into the shelter with a dog claiming that they just found it. And of course, we kind of figured that was not true from the behavior of the dog. But, we talked to them, we got their information, we took the dog in, and it turns out that the dog was microchipped. And when we contacted the owner, the dog had been missing for about 5 months prior to that.
Wow.
And it was actually found within a block or two of where it lived. Somehow it got out by mistake. The owners were looking around for it. The finder found it and then said, oh, well, because it was skinny and nobody was around, we took it home and we kept it, which is very unfortunate. But through the course of speaking with the finder, um, she felt bad for the dog, whatever the case may be. But we were glad that we reunited the owner with the dog, even months later. I mean, I have a video posted on our shelter page of when the lady came, and the dog was just so ecstatic. And the dog, she was wagging her tail so hard, like she almost fell out of the lady's arms. And it was a really happy thing. So, we really tried to push a lot of the ACOs to be in communication with their community at all times. If people say, I don't know that we have an animal control officer, and I said, well, that's a real big negative for me, because everybody here in New Jersey, every town has to have an ACO. So if your town doesn't know that you're the ACO, you're not doing your job, basically. So they need to know that you're that resource for them, for the animals. You're there for animal emergencies, you're there for animal, assistance, you're there for surrender prevention, maybe a pet food pantry, something. Like, you need to be the animal resource for your community. And just being out there is really the way to do that.
It really is, and taking that proactive approach. And I say this all the time, Michelle, is like the image of the dog catcher wasn't the creative genius of Disney or the inept Fox directors that have a show currently on TV that some officers like and some see it for what it
Mm.
is. It's not, it's truly a reflection of what our profession was and sometimes still is, depending on where you go and who you deal with. And so I think it's important that we continue to create community partnerships and relationships by, you know, having good customer service, right? Taking the time,
Mm-hmm.
taking the time to learn how your community operates in some aspects, going to special events, those type of things.
Yeah, teaching I find that the kids are a big are a big plus. You get in with the kids, you do your speaking engagements with the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the high schools, because those are the next generation of animal care people and animal welfare people. So you teach them the right way, what needs to be done, and they'll grow up learning that, instead of growing up learning, that their grandfather or their great grandfather had the dog tied outside in the yard because that's what his grandfather did, and so forth. So you got to break that cycle where pets are not just dogs are not just animals, cats are not just nuisance, they're all part of the family now. So we really try to do a lot of things with the kids just because of that, because we feel that they are the ones who are going to take over for us. Our community now, we have kids that are instead of getting presents for their birthday parties, they want to do donations.
Yeah, you see that
So
a lot, right?
party, yeah, you do the donations, or they do lemonade stands and they give the money to the animal shelters. I mean, it's the parents are behind that, but the kids have to be willing to do it to begin with. So if they're not, they like to do it. They like the feel of when we show our appreciation, that even if the kid gives us an envelope with like $11 in change, that's that little kid's envelope of money, and they're giving it to us so that we can buy treats for the dogs or buy snacks for the dogs. That's the best feeling in the world, when they want to do that, and they say that they want to grow up and to be somebody that helps the animals. That's really awesome. That's how you're doing your job well, is when they want to do what you're doing.
100%. And I'm so happy that you can share that. I think we have to have more advocates like you to continue to support that, because I think it happens. We have people like you, out in New Jersey that do that, right? We have Joe on the other side of the country doing his stickers, and really that one is more of like supporting us as a community, not necessarily yeah, I know you love the Joe the ACO stuff, right? Like that supports us though, and provides
Mhm.
us some of that like work-life balance that we need to like feel good, and that's really, really important stuff. Like we need advocates throughout. We have our girls in Texas, Tabby and Talitha. Wow. Kelly and Tabitha. Whew, don't beat me up for that one. But like there are people in the community really doing the work. And as I reflect on our founding fathers and mothers, whether it's Caroline Earl White, who started the first animal shelter outside of Philadelphia, whether it's George Thorndike Angel up in Boston, or whether it was Henry Berg, like those are the people that decided not to be that nameless gray face and really push forward for change. And I think that's something you're doing in your community, whether it's with your department, whether it's with the NACA stuff that you're doing, or saying, hey, Ettinger, you told me I was going to come on for the Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week, but where you at, bro? And I was like, oops, my bad. So, but that you advocating for us as a department is only going to help the profession continue to grow. And I appreciate you for doing that. And shoot, we go back, and I know we probably talked about it the last time you were on the podcast. I go back to when I met you in Baltimore, Maryland, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and just having a good time conversating about, all the good things that, you know, we, um, we do as a individual or as a unit with our groups, et cetera. And there's a lot of great work that's being done and continued to be done. So I just want to, that's, I guess, a very long way of saying thank you for uh, continuing the hard work that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What else you got going on? What iron in the fire do you have?
Well, Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week is coming up, so I'm trying to get some things set up um, in town. Trying to get my HR department to get a little broadcast for us. It's a little tough because it's the same week as Police Dispatcher Week.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get them maybe to do like a combination kind of a thing, at least so that we're recognized out there. We did get oh shoot, what is that? we had the township council declare Animal Control Officer Appreciation Week in Montclair, the second full week for that. So I have a nice little, plaque on the wall there that it's really good to be recognized, by the town, the admins and things like that. So every year I try to do something more and more. This year we're going to like share bios about ourselves, things we do off hours in our spare time, whenever that is. But just a little kind of like to get to know you kind of a thing. And we're going to share that with the public so that they know, who's coming out to help them when they need some kind of assistance, and I'm trying to get something for my guys too, as a little thank you for, doing the job that they do, because they're the ones who are really out in the field more than I am. And just to say thank you, for doing the job. Thank you for being professional. Thank you for wearing your uniform, things like that. So we have a reputation to keep up, physically, and visually, so that, we are taken seriously, and we are, understood as first responders, and emergency personnel, just like police department. There's something that goes on. There's a fire in the house. The police department and the fire department, they call us to say, hey, you need to come and help us, get these animals out. So we are, first responders along, right along with them. So that's something that I always try to promote when anytime the week comes in during the year, and even during the year, just being the first responders, whether it's officially official, but to us, that's what we are, and that's how I continue to promote us.
And we really are. And we have to continue to advocate for that first responder status. I remember just a few years ago, I got some pushback in the ACO page. And if you're not part of the ACO page on Facebook, you should join it. But I basically was like, hey, just so everybody knows, like AT&T FirstNet considers animal control officers first responders. And it was interesting that some of I don't want to use the word pushback, but there were some that were like, no, we're not. Like, we've never been considered first responder. I'm like, yeah, you go and you say, I do animal control, and you can, and I'm not trying to like plug FirstNet because it doesn't work that great to begin with. So I wouldn't even consider going that. But it's just interesting that like, we're starting more and more to get recognized as first responders. And that's my point of bringing that whole thing up.
Yeah. I mean, we have to portray ourselves as that. People will believe it if we say that we are. We're not asking for permission to be first responders. We are first responders. So the more we tell people that we are, the more that they get it, and the more that they will just know that that's what we are.
Absolutely. And I love that. We have to advocate for ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. So, and you're doing a great job advocating for us as a department. Side note question.
Yep.
How close are you to Montville Animal Control?
Montville?
Yeah. Is that a place?
Yeah. Well, there's Montville and there's Montvale. That's why I just wanted to specify. Montville is probably about 30 minutes away from me, well, a little west from me.
Okay. So I had a cat once. This belonged to my ex-wife. Her name was Chelsea, super great cat. And she was adopted from there. And close to you. She was a New Jersey cat, so she had all that sass. Cats have sass anyway. Who are
yeah.
kidding? Who are we kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else you got for us for ACO Appreciation Week?
Just to let all my other fellow ACOs know that, you guys are doing a great job. You may not get the recognition or the respect sometimes, but keep your heads up, do your job well, promote yourselves for the professionals that you are, and, stay safe out there. That's the most important part.
Stay safe. I think be professional, have fun, and be innovative, right? There's so much more in the world in this profession. We have, to be honest, like when I talk about our founding mothers and fathers of this profession, it's still pretty young. So we have a great opportunity to continue to build on that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for
Thank you for being a friend. No, but in all seriousness, thank you for taking the time today and staying on it. Honestly, like I've been busy and it's no excuse, but I I appreciate you for to follow up. I know, we were chatting and I reached out and then I kind of fell off due to just uh, I was traveling to Denver and then I'm now out in Missouri. I got to see the eclipse today. That was pretty darn cool. Um, but at the end of the day, like we gotta continue to advocate and do that hard work. So I know you're busy, you're strapped in, and so thank you for making the time late on the East Coast right now. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on again.
Always happy ACO week, peeps.
All right, have a good one.